Hi, Cookie. What do you think about your plants? Oh my gosh, I hope these don't fly away. Hey, cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookie's Cacti. Guess what? It is that time of year again. Time to show off your favorite plants to other plant lovers. So the 2025 CACSS Show Sale is coming up pretty quickly. By the time this video comes out, the show will only be about 2 weeks away. I'm going to put up on the screen a screenshot of the show flyer with all the information. For those of you who are interested in entering your plants to the show, the drop-off date is on Wednesday, March 26th. You would drop off your plants at Dorrance Hall at the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix, Arizona, anytime between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I'm starting to get my plants ready for the show, kind of thinking about which ones I would most like to share with other fellow plant lovers. And so I've picked 7 plants at this point, although between now and the actual show, I might change my mind on some of these. And also, it finally rained, thank goodness. It rained yesterday, and I don't know if some of these will end up rotting. But then, who knows? So if it rots, I won't enter it into the show. If you are thinking about showing your plants for the first time and you're a little bit nervous, don't be at all. Now, the thing you do want to do is you want to go onto the CACSS website and take a look at the rules and guidelines, because you don't want to encounter any unwanted surprises. And so, yeah, there's quite a few rules in here, but they're really not that bad. If the wind doesn't blow it away, there's just a few that I will highlight. So when you pick your plant to enter into the show, do make sure that it has been in your possession and under your care for at least 6 months. One of the purposes of the show is to demonstrate mastery and expertise in caring for plants. So it would kind of defeat the purpose of just buying a plant today and entering it into the show tomorrow. Here's a plant, for example, that I will not enter into this year's show because I think I bought this just a few months ago. So next year I can pot this up and enter it into the show. Another useful guideline to know is that all plants that are entered into the show need to be horticulturally propagated. There can be no field collected plants, even if the plant was legally collected. So I have an example here of an Echinocactus horizontaloneus. It was purchased from a legitimate nursery, but I know that this was collected from the field, although it was done legally. So I can admire this all I want at home, because it is very, very beautiful, but I will not enter it into a cactus show. Another useful guideline is that each exhibitor has a max limit of 25 plants that you can enter into the show. So make sure that you bring lots and lots of plants, but not more than 25. And the last guideline and rule that I'll highlight is that once the show closes at 4 p.m. on Sunday, you need to be available to pick up your plant in that 2-hour window. So between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., you have to go and pick up your plants. As for the rest of the rules and guidelines, just go and take a look at them. There's nothing on there that's all that crazy. Things like bringing pest-free plants, don't have your plants soaking wet and dripping water everywhere, things like that. So who's eligible to enter plants into the show? As long as you are a current member of either the CACSS, the Central Arizona Cactus and Succulent Society, or if you're a member of the Tucson Cactus and Succulent Society, you are welcome to participate in the show. For everyone else who happens to be in Phoenix, Arizona at that time of the show and sale, do come and enjoy. Just come and walk around, see the amazing plants. And this year, there's going to be the full-size sale. Bring your credit cards because I think it's cashless for the entire sale. There's going to be over 20 vendors, and some of those are vendors that we're familiar with, like Spines and Clay, AZ Veronica Makes, Peter W. So a lot of good stuff. And I think LA Succulents will be there as well. For those of you who are thinking about participating, please do. Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. It's just plain fun. And I'll say that Cookie made me put up these ribbons from the 2 previous shows that I've participated in. And, I just picked plants and put them in there and I got some ribbons. And you may very well go home with some ribbons too. It's just fun. So when you go to the rules and guidelines on the CACSS website, they will list the criteria that is used for judging. So the first is the condition of the plant. That's half the points right there. Second is difficulty of culture, which is 25% of the score. Then is the size and degree of maturity, which is 15% of the score. And last is staging and presentation, which is 10%. So you can see the most important thing of all of this is the condition of your plant. But I would say just bring your favorite plants and have fun with it. Having fun is the most important part of this entire experience. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to the plants, give you a look at the ones that I've picked out for this year. Some of them are repeats and some of them are new. As you can see, I have 7 plants that I have selected to enter into the show this year. And I have included the paperwork for each plant. So every exhibitor will have to pick up one of these pieces of paper, I guess it's like a plant card, and fill out all the information on there. So you can see that all of my plant cards are yellow because I am in the novice class. There are 5 classes and it all depends on how many blue ribbons you won. So as you win more and more blue ribbons, you will move up in the classes. And that information is all listed on the CACSS website as well. They also mentioned that you are welcome to enter into a higher class if you'd like to, but once you decide to move up, you can't move back down. And so what this means is that, for example, my novice category means that I'm competing against other novice showers as well. I will not be competing against the advanced or the master class, for example. The important thing when you get your card is that you're going to have to fill out the information on here. There's 2 sections that are repeated. So you got to put your exhibitor name, of course. And then you have to go and figure out the section, class, and division for each one of these plants. And that category is all listed on the CACSS website. And when you go to drop off your plants, if you need any help filling this out, there will be volunteers there to help you. So don't worry about that. Every exhibitor is assigned an exhibitor number, so I happen to be exhibitor number 2. When you register to be an exhibitor, make sure you remember the number that you got so that you can use it on your card. And for those of you who have not picked up a card at a CACSS meeting, don't worry about it. On the day of the plant drop-off on Wednesday, March 26th, they will give you all these cards and you'll just fill it out on the spot. So let's look at the plants that I picked. Let's start here on the right. This is a Pellicophora stroboliformis, which I have showed in both of the 2 previous shows that I participated in. I just think it's cute and it's little, so it's really easy to transport. This is sitting in an AZ Veronica Makes pot. I've had this for several years now. It grows really, really slow, but it flowers. You can see the spent flowers on top of it. The next plant is a plant that I have never showed before at a show. This is an Areocarpus retusus trifinger. So this will be a new one for me this year. And what I will do before the show is I'll probably try to hide all the pumice that's visible in the pot just to make it look a little bit nicer. And maybe I'll fluff up the hair. The next plant is also a plant I have never showed before. This is a Mammillaria species, bought probably a couple years ago. It's sitting in a revolutionary clay pot. I just think it's kind of a cute, pretty clump. I don't know if it has any chance of winning anything. Pretty ordinary, but I think it looks nice. The next plant is my Boojum, sitting in a Leo pot. You all know how I feel about Boojum, Foquaria columnaris. So I'm going to give it a try. It still has its leaves because it's still pretty cool. Chances are maybe somewhat high that the leaves will still be here by the time the show happens. The next plant is multiple plants. There's 6 Areocarpus in here. Because there's multiple plants in one pot, this plant is in a completely different section and class from the other plants. All the other plants are single specimen plants, so they belong in a different class. So do make sure that when you're looking at the plant categories to note that. This planter I showed last year, and I just love it. It's like my happiest Areocarpus that I have is in this community pot. And this is in an AZ Veronica Makes trough. The next plant is a Copiopoa species because I forgot what the species is. It might be Calderana, but I forgot. I purchased this from one of my Instagram friends, sitting in a spines and clay pot. I just love the way that it looks. And this is a plant that I have never showed before. I'll give it a try. Copiapoa is such a mystery to me. I don't know when to water it. I don't really know how to care for it. It seems to be still alive. Hopefully it'll stay alive by the time the show comes around, but we'll see. And the last plant is my Astrophytum ornatum Kiko that Ty at Arizona Cactus Sales gifted me on that mystery box unboxing. So this was a birthday gift from Ty, essentially. So I got this plant mid-September of last year. So by the time the show occurs, which would be at the end of March, I would have had this plant for just over 6 months. So I did make sure that all the plants that I have here, I've had in my possession for at least 6 months, just to follow the rules. Thank goodness that it just passed 6 months. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to show this plant. I'd have to wait until next year. What can I say about this plant? It is sitting in a Mark Muradian pot, which I just repotted, I think 2 or 3 months ago. I love it. So these are the 7 plants that I'm bringing to the show this year. Hopefully they do all right, but it doesn't matter. I just want to participate and have fun. And it's always a surprise on what gets a ribbon and what doesn't. You just never know. You know, the judges are all human. A lot of this is actually, all of it is subjective to a degree, right? So we're just there to have some fun. And as Cookie forced me to put up the ribbons from the past shows, you can see that every one of these ribbons was a surprise. Because I just enter a plant thinking that it will get no attention. And then, surprisingly, it does get some attention, which is fun. Another thing that I'll mention is you'll notice every one of these pots has a label in it. You are required to place a label in every one of your plant pots. And you place the label in the back of the pot. So this label placement will determine what is considered the front of the plant and what will be facing outward when it's placed on the tables for judging and showing. So, if you're in the Phoenix area anytime from Friday, March 28th through Sunday, March 30th, come to the Desert Botanical Garden. Make your way over to Dorrance Hall. Come see the show. Come shop the sale and have a ton of fun. So until next time, take care, y'all. Happy growing. Bye-bye. However, she's trying to escape.